All right, y'all. It is time to shine. It is time to shine. We are back for another very special episode again here for the Run the Jewelz vidcast and podcast series. I'm your host, Julian Smartrim. We are locked and loaded, ready to again dive into another very special episode. Shout out to all of our wisdom listeners who are listening to us live, getting some exclusive behind the scenes access. Shout out to all of our podcast listeners. I am Julian Smartrimple, King Jules Speaks. We are diving in today for our subject. If this is your first time that you are rocking with us, we appreciate you rocking with us today. But the RTJ Lifestyle Show was created to spread inspiration to young professionals and millennial entrepreneurs who want to learn wisdom on how to shine brighter in their careers or their businesses. And so if you are a millennial like myself, if you are a Gen Zer, like many of our listeners, or even if you are a baby boomer, we still got love for the baby boomers. You are in the right place to hear some of the jewels of wisdom, the exclusive jewels of wisdom from my very special guest today. And so you can listen to us on any podcast platform. But if you are interested in being one of our future guests, click on the link that we're putting in the comment section below to fill out our interest form. We only select certain guests that have a dynamic testimony, that they are very much so courageous and bold in sharing their business or even sharing about their career and how they blaze their path in their own career field. And so we appreciate all of our shining VIP jewels that have been rocking with us this season. We could not have made our show a success without you. And again, finally, you can listen to us on all podcast streaming platforms, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts or even your favorite music artist at. But you could also catch us this season. We just upgraded to be here on Wisdom. Shout out to all of our Wisdom app listeners, and then also on Clubhouse. And so we are today as a smart jewel, which you are now for being one of our listeners that are watching or listening to us on the podcast. We appreciate you. If you have any very special questions for my special guests, especially if you're on the Wisdom app or if you're listening to the podcast live, you can ask any question that you desire. My guest and myself will do our best to answer it to the best of our abilities, but you can list any questions in the comment section for those who are catching us live right on today's episode. But no question is too small or too large. We always like to have questions as we go through our Q&A interview with our guest. And so those are all of my housekeeping rules. Shout out again to our wisdom listeners. Feel free to come onto the stage if you have any questions for my very special VIP guest. But today we are diving into how to start a vending machine business, you all. We're going to be talking to a special guest who I actually came across through IG. We also are a part of a Reels community group that is on Facebook by way of Instagram. Shout out to Monty, who created the Realist community. And I came across this young queen's business page just by us challenging ourselves to show Reels each and every day throughout the week, so that we can get more views on our business pages or on our personal pages. And I hit her up. I said that I definitely like what you and your husband are doing in literally showing people how you are starting your vending business and how you are scaling your vending business. And so I asked her to come onto the show because, you know, we're all about having entrepreneurs, especially entrepreneurs that look like myself and others who are of color, to share their story with us. And so I'm going to introduce you all to my very special VIP guest, Miss Nakia, who's with Life's Sweet and Savory Vending. I'm going to introduce you right now, you all, without further ado, to Miss Nakia of Life's Sweet and Savory Vending. Nakia, how are you doing today?
I'm well. Good morning.
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for coming on. Good morning to you too. We thank you, Nakia, for taking the time out of your schedule to come and share the jewels of wisdom with our audience today. And I know we're about to dive into some great Q&A. But Nakia, can you tell our audience For those who may not know you, but will definitely know who you are after today, tell us a little bit about yourself, Nakia, where you're from, also where you're currently streaming with us today, and then why is this an important subject for you to discuss with our audience?
Well, my name is Nakia White Hazel. I own Life Sweet and Savory Vending with my husband, Montez Hazel, and we're from Charleston, South Carolina. And we're actually broadcasting this from Moncks Corner, South Carolina at the moment. So thank you all for having us.
Absolutely. Shout out to Monk's Corner. I think Charlemagne, the
Yes,
guy,
he is.
and Steve Furtick, I think, are both from Monk's Corner. So I remember hearing a lot about them doing their interviews in Monk's Corner. So shout out to Monk's Corner, you all. But we're here live with Miss Nakia, who's one of the half founders and also owners of Life Sweet and Savory Vending. Nakia, like talk to our audience. Like start us off with, I hear a lot of people on social and also on YouTube that say they go into vending as a part-time business versus a full-time business. Like talk to us how you and your husband decided to go into vending in the vending industry.
Okay. So back in 2019, we sat down and we looked at our careers. I'm 17 years educator, and he's in the boat industry as far as manufacturing is concerned. And we would always do other little things on the side. So we wanted to figure out if there was something else that we could do that could be our own. Yes, we love what we do as our careers, but we wanted something that could be ours, that we could pass down to our children and our family. And so we thought about things that we're actually good at. So like I enjoy making like snack boxes and theme boxes, and he's good with his hands. He's very technical. And he actually got in trouble when we were in middle school. And the principal, the assistant principal, instead of giving him a regular referral and giving him like in-school suspension or out of school suspension, they actually allowed him to work with them stocking vending machines. So that was when we were back in middle school. And so what we did was take that same, things that he enjoyed doing, things that I enjoyed doing, and we tried to find something that we would enjoy doing together. And that's how we decided that we would do vending together.
I love that. We always love hearing about middle school and high school sweetheart stories, especially from those couples that are able to put in the time, put in the work to literally grow and to also mature as a couple, and especially going into marriage. And so shout out to all of the high school sweethearts that are out there listening. But we are here with Miss Nakia of Life's Sweet and Savory Vending. And we are talking about how her and her husband got started with their vending business. But Nakia, that's awesome. Especially, I come from an educator's background, education and training and development. So I always know how much of an importance it is to have a side income when you're waiting on that one check throughout the month. Because educators, for those who are not educators out there, most educators that I know only get paid once a month. So like how did y'all balance your finances in order to, let's say, have money to start up the vending business? Did y'all set a goal when you both were working in the professions that you were coming from? Did y'all have some of that tax refund money to put aside to do the startup? Like how did y'all get your startup income to purchase your first machine or even just to start the business?
Well, we were determined that we were actually going to do it. So what we would do is we would put money up out of each check. So like how we have our normal savings account, we actually had a goal account. And our goal was to put enough money up so that we could buy an asset. So we figured that by doing that together, that's how we would do it. And we started with just basic, like we nothing too high tech. We did buy some routes. And that's a good idea for some people as well, because it's already like machines there. You may have to change things up. That's a whole nother story because you're dealing with clientele that already had another vendor. But we sat down and we decided we're going to do this. We didn't take out any loans. We didn't borrow money from family. It was just our regular sweat and tears from our regular jobs. And we said we're going to do it slowly but surely. So see, that's why our business was created in 2019, but when you go on our social media, our social media pages don't show like activity until 2022 or 2021, because we wanted to make sure we had our business lined up, we had our finances where it needed to be to invest in our business, and we believe in growing the right way. We didn't want to be in a race. We wanted to do this the right way, so we wouldn't have any hurdles, which that's going to happen in business. But it started with just, $50, $75. Okay, put it in this account. Just put it in this account. This is what we're going to do. This is our goal, and that's how we started.
Yeah, that's a goal in itself. Like you said, Nakia, for you all to actually stack all of your chips, stack all of your dollars up in order to have a separate bank account. You all is what Nakia is dropping on you all this morning with the jewels of wisdom. Sometimes you can't take from your main checking account to put into your business, because you need to have a separate account for your business if you are not trying to mix business with your regular lifestyle or your regular spending. And so that's a jewel in itself, you all, that Nakia is dropping on us and even myself this morning. And so that goes into a good question right there, Nakia, too. Like how did y'all decide whether to go with the route first versus getting like a standalone first vending machine in a location that you all, of course, had looked into, whether it was an apartment complex, a laundromat. I know it's a ton of other hot spots for vending machines, but how did you all decide to go the route versus the single standalone location?
Well, we were looking at businesses that were already established, that would already have equipment on site. Yes, the equipment may not have been the best, but it was a start. It was a start. We wanted to make sure that the companies that we were replacing, that we could outdo them as far as customer service. That's a big part of our business, and that's how we grew. So some people may prefer to purchase machines and then go and hunt, or some may go hunt for a location and then get their machines. We just decided that the route would be easier for us. For one, we wanted to make sure that it was locations with like good hours. When I say good hours, I mean like 24/7 hours, so that we could go in the evenings if need be when starting out. We want to make sure that it's in locations that had like a lot of high foot traffic. So buying the routes work better for us. But like I said, it depends on what way you like to do it. I don't want to tell people to go in debt starting these businesses. I'm not going to sell anyone a dream. Business is not easy. There will be days when you question yourself, but you must always know your goal. What's your goal? What's your next step? Are you going to stay with just vending? Are you trying to branch out to something else? So that's why the routes were better off. I feel like for us, instead of all that extra footwork of going to find the locations and whatnot. And so far, what's happened is because of the service that we've been providing, that has allowed our reputation to speak for itself. And we're just slow and steady. We're not trying to rush and take over the low country. We're just trying to carve out our space and do it well.
Yeah, that's in a jewel right there, is to have slow and steady progress, you all, like Nakia is saying, especially for those who like to get out the gate zooming and also fast without dotting all their I's and crossing their T's. As we say in education, literally you have to map things out and have a plan. And so like stay with that point too, Nakia, when it comes to really having the plan. The name that you all go by, especially Life Sweet and Savory Vending, is literally standalone in itself. It always will speak to the volume of your business. And so like talk to people about how did y'all come up with your business name, you and your husband, and then also like what have you seen when people are identifying your business as that being a great name to say what industry you actually work in?
Well, we wanted to make sure that people understood that vending was a lifestyle, and life can be good and can be bad. Those are moments that take place just like in the actual food that are coming from our machines. Some are sweet, some are savory, some are spicy. And I wanted to make sure when we were talking about it, I wanted to make sure that I conveyed that idea that this is life. yes, we do have goods as far as, food is concerned, but we also do personal protection equipment and machines as well. But we wanted to make sure that people understood, like when they see our name, it's not just so and so snacks, or we wanted it to stand out. We want people to understand when you're following us, you're a part of the movement, you're a part of our community, you're a sweet lifer. That's what we call our people on like social media. You're a sweet lifer. You don't have to be from Charleston to be a sweet lifer. You're a sweet lifer because you understand the movement, you understand what we're doing and what we're trying to do with our community. So that's where we came up with that name. And a lot of people say that they like the name. My mom always said she wanted a sweet shop. So I always wanted to make sure that I would somehow incorporate that into it. She didn't get a chance to do so because she passed in 2019, but she always wanted to open up her little snack store or something. So it's like God just aligned things is what I'm thinking, that things just started aligning. They fell into place. What planning, but I feel like a lot of things fell into place, especially with that name when we came up with it.
Yeah, I personally love the name, especially because going into education and even coming from like a training and development background, I always learned from most of the business gurus that your name really carries weight with being on an elementary level, being able to have someone know what industry you work in and even what does your business do. And so shout out to Life Sweet and Savory Vending, and even those who actually think in depth about their name of their company or even their service that they're providing, because people do look at that type of stuff, especially fellow educators like myself and Nakia. And so that's a great segue even into like rest in power to your mom to like give us your why, Nakia, for why you and your husband started the vending service business, because every entrepreneur we speak to always has a why. I know some people may have it for their family, for their starting their business legacy, to establish a family legacy. Some people may be doing it for side income or side hustles to turn into full time. Like, what was you and your husband's why originally, and even has that why changed since you
Mm-hmm.
started the business?
So at first, when we decided to do it, we said that we wanted to make sure that we had something that we could do with our kids, not just to leave it to them, but we wanted to do something that we could do with them. Like our daughter is really good at math, and so she helps with like the numbers and the prices and purchasing goods. We wanted to teach them certain things. We wanted them to realize that life isn't how you take it; life is how you make it. And because we're really big into helping our family and watching other families, we decided that our mission would be to take our brand and expand it to different businesses, like organizations like where we have our machines at. They're not like in the traditional where you might think, I guess, like vending would be at. We actually have like coffee services. We work with co-op, co-working spaces. We organizations that we think can help the community, like things that we see that's helping the people in the community. And when we say community, we mean the Low Country, because we're from the Low Country. So we want to make sure that people understand that we're here and we're here to stay. We didn't leave the Low Country. Like we're born, raised, educated, teach, in the Low Country. So we want people to understand that our why, it started off with just making sure that our kids had something they could do with us, and would also benefit from. But now it's expanded to more of our community, like being able to donate money to different organizations. And these are organizations that benefit, helped us when we were younger. So that's our goal, is so that when the day comes when we're finally pushing up daisies, we can rest knowing that we did right by Charleston, because Charleston did right by us. Well, the Low Country did right by us.
I love it. I love it. And before we go to highlight our VIP sponsor too, like educate people too, Nakia, because I know a little bit about South Carolina and especially Georgia with the Gullah and Geechee. But even talk to us about like the lower country and even the history of like Gullah and Geechee, especially in the South Carolina area.
Yes, that's no problem. We are of the Gullah Geechee people. And what happened was in South Carolina, we had a lot of slaves that were brought in from West Africa. And when you have all of these different languages and different people from parts of Africa, they combine with like the slave owners, and we created our own, like, we tried to hold on to some things from Africa, but we also intertwined it with what they had going on here in America. So yes, we have our own like dialect. We have certain things about our culture, the way that we cook, certain things that we do, certain traditions. I love it. I love being of Gullah Geechee heritage. And over the years, I've learned so much more. When I was younger, people would say that we don't speak well, or, we didn't sound as intelligent, but we're such a rich cultural people. And I appreciate every day being from this community. And I will continue to preach to people that it's so cool. It's so nice to speak to the elders and hear their stories and to listen to them. I mean, it just sounds like when they speak, it's like almost like a song, listening to them. So the Gullah Geechee heritage, it is strong here. So if you're ever in the area of South Carolina, please feel free to come down and take a visit here.
I love it. I definitely love the Gullah and Geechee area, especially from being here in Atlanta, but going to Savannah in the border of South Carolina and Georgia, where the Gullah and Geechee Nation is literally large for those who may not be from the South or those who have not traveled down to the South. And so I love y'all's culture, especially I'm of Caribbean descent from Trinidad, and I know a lot of the customs and traditions come from West Africa to the Caribbean down to the U.S. So shout out to the Gullah and Geechee Nation. But Nakia, we're going to give you a quick commercial break just to gather yourself for 1 second while we highlight our VIP sponsor, you all. Each and every episode, we highlight a VIP sponsor of who we are looking to partner with. So for business owners, for service providers, if you are interested in being a part of our podcast season episodes to premiere your business or your service, feel free to click the link that we're putting in the comment section right now. But let's all take a look and see who our VIP sponsor is for today, and we'll be right back shortly. Let's take a look. So shout out to our VIP sponsor for today, which comes from none other than Herb and Eden. Herb and Eden is a natural and organic wellness business that provides wellness products such as soaps, oils, scrubs, and a plethora of other wellness products. But you all can receive an exclusive Smart Jewels discount today on your first order, which is 15% off by just clicking on the link that I'm putting in the comment section below to, again, support a wellness thriving business that is based out of Atlanta, Georgia here. But shout out again to Herb and Eden. You can literally click the link that we're putting in the comment section to see how you can support, have your skin glowing, have your face looking pristine, and even to take better care with your wellness and also your hygiene. And so shout out to wellness products all across the U.S., but particularly Urban Eden, who we are highlighting today as our VIP sponsor. But back to you, Nakia. We just wanted to highlight our VIP sponsor for today. Like talk to us about like how have you and your husband seen the business grow? Do y'all set aside certain hours each week to restock your machines, and even how do you all maintenance the machines? How have you seen that grow from the beginning?
Well, what I will tell you is that it is so good to learn your machines. I highly recommend anyone who starts the business to try to have machines that are made by the same company so that you can become your own expert. Because trying to get a vending machine technician, they come a dime and a dozen in our area. The fees are very expensive just for them to come and look at the machine. That's not the fixing part. So I always tell people that it's good to learn your craft, not just to say, oh, I have a machine and oh, I can make money from it. That you should actually take the time to learn your machine. We have seen that credit card readers on machines with the capability of the tap pay, Apple Pay, we have seen our profits increase with machines that have access to that, because people are carrying, like, around more cards than I guess maybe cash nowadays. It's more convenient. So I've always tell you all, if you ever decide to have machines, try to make sure that you have machines that are credit card capable, because not all machines are able to use credit card readers on them. So you want to make sure that you check that. That's definitely been a big thing for my husband and I, was to upgrade our equipment. We started off with machines that did not have access. You can use credit cards on them, but through the money that we made sure that we put that money up to purchase newer equipment. Yes, they may be refurbished, but they're newer and they have more capabilities than the older equipment. And I will say that very good machines can last you forever. Like, there are some machines that were built in like the 90s, still going hard. And you pay for what you want, but you want to make sure that if you're deciding to purchase like used machines, where I've seen people purchase machines from like Facebook, OfferUp, any of those platforms, you want to make sure that you go and you test out these machines. You don't want to spend a lot of money on what turns out to be junk or a headache. So definitely learn your craft. Anything that you decide to put your mind to, learn your craft, learn your machines, look up manuals, any problems that people may have, making sure that your coils in your machines that you put your products in, making sure that they actually fit the size products you'd like to have. It's so much little pieces than just, purchasing the machines and just stocking them. It's a lot that happens behind the scenes, like your sales use tax, making sure you have an accountant, making sure you have bookkeeping in place, making sure you filed all the correct documents with your state, making sure that you're registered. Some people, say they do this as a side hustle. They may not put those things in place, but I just wanted to make sure that we were legit. We just got our certification as a minority-owned business about 2 weeks ago. So you want to make sure you're doing things properly. You want to make sure that you're filing your business taxes. You want to show proof. Like, I have my business plan in my office here. I reference it every week. When I make my goals for the week, I reference my business plan. Are we on track to hitting what we want to hit? Are we making the growth that we like to see? Because we could sit here and we can act like, oh, it's all, fine and dandy, and we could show money drops and money bags and everything like that. But with the part that people don't really show you is the buying the new machines, the compressors that might be $400 and $500, the coin mechanisms that might go out on the machines, making sure that you keep your machines clean, the amount of gas that you're spending with the price of gas now. How much times are you going to go on your route? Are you going on your route once a week? See, those are the little pieces that I try to make sure that I tell people about, because I don't want anyone to get into anything thinking it's just a get rich opportunity without realizing there's other ways that you're going to be spending the money that you're seeing inside these bag drop videos and stuff.
Right. And that's the point that I was even going to get to, right? With what you're saying, Nakia, and Nakia's dropping a ton of jewels on that. Like a lot of folks on social, on IG, especially in YouTube, they make it look so easy to be able to maintain the maintenance of your machines, not let alone just even stocking the machines and even getting a location, but even the maintenance piece. And I know from even coming from an educational background, like yourself and myself, and I even worked in the nonprofit space with Boys and Girls Clubs. I used to see a lot of those vending techs up in the room or in the schools like every other day, based off of how old some of the machines were, or even how they were not working correctly. And so that's a money put aside for even maintaining the machine. Just like you have a house, you have to maintenance that house, otherwise it's going to literally fall down on you. And so, like, that's a major jewel in itself that Nakia is dropping on all of us who are listening, especially the wisdom listeners. You have to not just attain that product or that business, you have to maintain that business or that product or that service. And so, wisdom listeners, if you have any questions for Nakia during today's interview, feel free to come onto the stage. We are literally in Q&A, diving in to the heart of how Nakia and also her husband started their vending machine business, and even how they are setting the tone for their community and also for their city at large in South Carolina. And so shout out to Monks Creek, South Carolina. But Nakia, like, stay with that point too, because we always talk about trials and also hurdles that entrepreneurs go through. And like, what were some of the initial startup hurdles that you may have gone through, outside of course, having the money set aside to start the business, outside of having the route that you all had agreed that you were going to do, and even having the business plan put in place? Like, what were some initial hurdles that you and your husband went through in starting the vending machine business? And then what are some hurdles that you would suggest new vending machine entrepreneurs look out for when they're starting up a vending business?
Well, I will say that all money isn't good money. So you will be given opportunities, and I guess word travels fast or whatnot. And people will think you should hop at every opportunity. Everything is just not for you. There, we've been given opportunities in locations, decent locations, but we look at the drive. We look at how many hours we would have to commit. We looked at like the foot traffic. Is it going to be worth it? How much gas are we going to be spending if we were to take on that location? So we really wanted to make sure that we did not just want to grow to have this big name out there and then be a crappy business. We wanted to make sure that when there were any problems, we could actually handle it, that we answered the phone when things arise. And I'll be honest with you, the way that businesses are, you require growth. Growth is going to happen. Like, we had to hire an assistant because things were just growing, and we want to make sure that we can actually show up at our businesses if there's a problem, and that's been our thing. The hurdles that I've seen is that people are not prepared for major breakdowns in machines. That they think these machines are going to last forever. Some things I would say: make sure that your machine is not directly right up on the wall. You want to make sure that there is air circulating behind the machines. The more that the time that you take as far as keeping up your machines, it will take care of you. And still make sure that you're putting money aside, because you have to pay insurance. You never know what may happen. Someone might try and push your machine and it might fall, or they might break something. And things can happen, but you want to make sure that you're ready for it. So as far as hurdles that we experienced, we did not take every account that came our way. We politely told them that at that time we would not be able to service their location, and maybe they found other people. But we want to make sure that you make decisions that benefit you and the client. You don't want it to just say, "Oh, good, I have a location I can go put this machine at," and then you can't get there because they close at 5 o'clock, or their hours don't match your, the hours that you want to be there, or you don't have someone who can run the route if you're not available. What happens when you'd like to go on vacation? You don't want to have expired products inside these machines. You do not want a reputation for that. You don't want to open up that can of worms. So you want to make sure that you're able to actually be there and be in your business. I like to make sure that we're in our business. We're doing the shopping. We're running the numbers. So we're running the routes. I want people to understand that these things are so doable, but in every business, make sure that you're in your business. You don't want to find out any major surprises, because some of these surprises can put you out of business. So we haven't had any real big hurdles. It was just that we started growing and people started talking about us, so that we started getting a lot of offers to place machines. But we didn't want to take the risk of drying out our savings accounts and whatnot, business credit, purchasing. We just want to make sure that we're slow and steady and doing it the right way.
Ooh, that's some jewels in itself right there. Is you have to be working on the business, especially at the beginning, when you are wanting to build and also scale. And then even like Nakia is saying, you got to know when to ask for help, because you will get overwhelmed. And I know even for my interest in the vending business, I always hear a lot about how the vendors stock their machines. Like, did you do like a poll test or a straw poll to see like what are the products that may be top on the popularity list in certain areas that you have your machines at? Did you experiment with testing out some new chips or some new products or some new candies, whatever the case is? And like, how do you stock your machines, you and your husband? Do y'all go to big bulk stores like the Sam's Club, the Costco's, or do y'all shop local? Because I always hear different approaches for vendors.
Mm-hmm. So when we place a machine, we normally start with your classics products like your Ruffles and certain chips that we know that normally do well. But what we also do is we place a survey with a QR code on our machines, letting them know, hey, we would like your input so that we can customize a program for your location. And people actually do it. They will scan that QR code and I'll get notifications that they've completed it. So it gives me an idea of the things that they like, so that we know we're placing products that will sell.
Mm.
For instance, one of our newer locations, they like sun chips. So I have never had a location that likes sun chips, but they seem to like sun chips. They placed that on their on the survey, and we've been pumping out sun chips as one of their major things. As far as purchasing our products, yes, we do go to some of the wholesale places like BJ's and Sam's. You do have larger wholesalers like Vistar, Vendor Supply, where depending on your locations, you can go to their locations and pick them up. They have certain days that you can order. For instance, like pastry items are frozen, so they have certain protocol to make sure that they thaw everything out before you pick them up. Then you can have items shipped directly to you from those large companies like that. Now they may have a certain price point that you may want to be at, and the shipping cost you want to make sure you keep up with that. But hey, I'll be honest with you, there are times like yesterday when I was in Food Lion on my own personal outing, and they actually had sodas, 12 the 12 packs, 12 ounce cans of soda for 12 packs for $10. When I can go to Sam's and a 36 pack of like what, $13-14, so you come across certain things and you're like, hey, I can't, it's a good offer, I can't put it, anything out. So that's why you want to make sure you do have a business account, so that when those offers are in your face, you have your business debit card or your business credit cards or whatever, so you can make those purchases. You don't want to use your personal money. You want to make sure that you show that everything is separate. So hey, you get in where you fit in, and if it requires us to run to BJ's and Sam's and Vistar or whatnot, well, when we come down to the nitty gritty, keep up with what's going on in your local community. Keep up with what's going on in those local stores, the mom and pop stores. You never know, you might find some good deals with the coupons and everything. So keep all opportunities open when it comes to sourcing your products.
Yeah, that's an excellent piece of wisdom and jewels that Nakia's dropping, you got to do the QR codes, the surveys to survey your clientele. That's a very smart approach too, Nakia, that you and your husband did in order to really see what the customers are wanting in that particular region or that particular location that the machines are set up in. Because a lot of people that I talk to, they don't go even to that extent of worrying about what their clients want. They just are putting out a product, and they could be missing out on so much more money if they actually took the time like you and your husband did in order to see what do my clients want, what do my customers want. And so like that's a good segue as we get ready to wind down shortly. Like tell people, and you don't have to give their exact numbers, but in reference to startup cost, we hear a lot about startup costs when we are interviewing entrepreneurs on the show. Like what's like a approximate amount that you would say if you are doing, let's say, a solo single unit that you're setting up as a vending machine versus like going the route way that you and your husband went? Like what are the different startup costs that you would recommend someone look into before they even jump into the vending business? And then also like tell people about what are your monthly costs to operate the business itself.
So I would say approximately if you have, I would say about $3,000, $5,000 would be a good start if you'd like to get a good machine. So you want to make sure that whatever you're doing as far as the business is concerned, you've registered, with the state and everything. So those will be fees. Accountants will be fees. Bookkeepers will be fees. But you want to make sure when you're starting off with the business, you get good equipment. Now, yes, you might find some jewels on like the, Facebook marketplace and offer up. You might find people who are just tired with the business and they're ready to retire or whatnot. You might come across those things. But as far as buying your products, buying your equipment, making sure you have bins to carry your items in, you might need a rolling cart to carry boxes and products with when you're going into these locations. You want to make sure that you look professional. You want to make sure that you have like uniforms for the people who will be working with you. You want to also make sure if you're bringing on anyone else to help, are you doing a 1099 form? Are you actually employing them where you're going to be giving them like benefits? You want to make sure that you are set up properly. And I feel like it takes money to make money, but it's doable. You know how some things feel like you can never reach it? I believe that you can. You really can. And you take your time, you learn that machine. It only takes one machine to start making you some money. Like some machines we'll have that can bring in like $400, $500 a month. Some might bring in 600, but that's the pretty side that I'm telling you. It brings in that much. But we also are paying insurance on all of our machines. Remember, you're buying products. What happens when you have products that go bad, that expire? You've now lost that money. You see, you can't, you're not going to give it to no one else. It's expired or it's already past the date of best usage. So we have to look at those things and the amount of gas that we're spending. So when I tell you, yeah, this machine brings in 500 and this one brings in 3 and this, there's also fees associated with our credit card readers. That's another thing. So I feel like if people were to put up money or you come into money and you want to get started, start with a good snack machine. Start or a good combo machine. There are some machines where you have snacks at the top and you have drinks at the bottom. The only issue with those type of machines, it depends on the size of the location and how often they're purchasing, because you may be going to that location more than once a week if they're buying the stuff out, because it's not as big as a solo snack machine or a solo drink machine. But you want to start somewhere if you're going to start, but make sure that you have good equipment. Make sure that you're professional. Sit down, contact with small business associations. There's organizations that will teach you things about like financing and bookkeeping. The jewels are out there. You just have to take the time to go out there and find them. So, opportunities like your podcast is helping the communities because people just sometimes don't think they can do it or they have the opportunity. Opportunities are knocking. Sometimes you don't hear it at the door. So that's something that I would highly say that it's doable. $3,000, $5,000, get you a good, decent machine. Start with that one. It only takes one. It only takes one.
Yeah, those are real numbers that Nakia is giving you all, especially when it comes to the startup process, because everybody's not coming in with 20 and 30 and 40 machines from the gate, and so you got to build your way up steadily and slowly, and also be very intentional about the process. Like Nakia is saying, you got to know when to pivot, and also when to ask for help, and also how to elevate your business. And so, Nakia, I know we definitely are pressed for time, but we've talked about a ton of information for your startup, for your vending machine business, and also how you and your husband are literally building up a legacy for your children and even your children's children. So, like, talk to us about when it comes to a final jewel, what would be a final piece of wisdom, a final jewel that you would want to leave with our audience before we let you go today, and why people should look into starting a vending machine business or even a vending machine service, and why this is an important subject for us to discuss today.
People love convenience. People love convenience. That's why we have microwaves. That's why we have streaming services. People love convenience. And I feel that vending provides convenience. When you offer a service, like landscaping or detailing cars, you're offering a service of convenience. And if you're going to offer a service of convenience, be the best at it. Carve out your thing. What are you going to be known for? How are you going to make people feel to make them remember you and be willing to spread your name, because your name carries weight. Be consistent. When those days come when you don't feel like getting up out the bed, when you don't feel like getting in the car and going to this place, go and do it. And sometimes when you're finally there, you're like, wow, I'm glad I did this. I'm glad I took a chance on myself. Take a chance on yourself, but be consistent with it in all that you do. Because you always hear people say practice makes perfect. No, practice makes permanent. You could be practicing the wrong thing. Practice makes permanent. Go out there and have somebody tell you, no, we don't need your service. Okay, that's another opportunity. That's another opportunity for you to go out there and get it in anything that you do. So if you decide to do vending, yes, you will hear no. I will tell you that you will hear no. You will hear it probably more than you hear yes. But yes is out there. Yes is out there. So just continue to be consistent, and don't let people tell you that, oh, that seems like that's a waste of time and blah blah blah. Or just looking at the glitz and the glam from off of Instagram or whatnot. It's hard work, but in all that you do, consistency in learning your craft will get you so far in vending and any other profession that you would like to pursue.
I love that. I love that. We always say consistency is king on the show, and even when I'm speaking to other individuals, because that separates those who are talkers versus those who are doers. And so, Nakia, how can people stay in touch with you and your husband's service and business, and how can they even support you? Let people know which ways they can stay in touch with you after today.
No problem. So on Facebook, we have our business page, which is at Sweet Savory Vending. We're also very active on Instagram at Life Sweet Savory, and we also have a website where people can ask for our services, but we also offer like unique snacks, different products on our website as well. And I do make snack boxes, so that's at www.sweetsavory.co. And I want people to understand that on our pages, we will show you the good, the bad, and the ugly. We will not just show you what we want you to see. We want you to understand what's happening. And if we can give you advice, we love to give you advice, because we feel like we want there to be a good community where everything isn't a charge. Everything isn't a ebook or fees. Someone taught us, yes, we did pay for some information, but someone gave us jewels about something. So you want to make sure that we're leaving something to other people. And if we could help other families, be self-sufficient, it's worth it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely go and stay in touch with, again, my very special guest today, Life's Sweet Savory Vending. Nakia and her husband are making a legacy for their family. A lot of people talk about building a legacy and talk about building a business, but they're working as a unit together and in unison. And I know we definitely got to have you and your husband come back and talk to us about maintaining a successful, healthy marriage while building a business, because that's a powerful subject in itself. But I'll ask you that later on for the next season, Nakia. But definitely go and check out Nakia and her husband on all the handles that we have listed below, and then even go and reach out to them on sweetsavory.co, and also on Instagram at Life Sweet Savory. But Nakia, it's been a pleasure serving with you today, this morning. We're going to say a special prayer over you just for thanking you for your time and to bless you along your way. And then we'll let you enjoy the rest of today, if that's okay.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So for those who are listening, definitely go back and listen to the replay. Go back and share this information that Nakia has dropped today. And again, make sure you stay consistent, like Nakia said. But let me say a quick prayer over you, Nakia. Father God, I just want to thank you for Nakia and also her husband, and being able to just be just landmarks and also trailblazers in their community, for showing others how to run a successful business through just their perseverance, their persistence, and even just through their courageousness in being a married couple and being in business together with one another, and even taking it slow and steady, just as you have called them to do, so that they get the product right, that they get the foundation right. And we thank you for the many open doors that you are providing them this season, and even more opportunities through this podcast that they will receive from our listeners who are wanting their services, our listeners who are wanting to partner with them, and even those who may have been inspired by Nakia's just transparency, and also just from her being relevant to others, to give the real information behind the scenes, the real grind, the real process that she and her husband have been going through. And we pray that you will bless them 100-fold plus for their time, and also for their persistence in building up their business and showing others the way. I love you, Abba. I thank you for this time that you've allowed us to share. And it's in Jesus, Yeshua's name, I pray. Amen.
Amen.
We appreciate you, Nakia, for coming on. If this episode has blessed you all, feel free to sow a seed with us. There's 2 ways to sow. You can Cash App us at SMART, SMART, JEWELZ, or you can click the link that's in the comment section to partner with us as a monthly Patreon subscriber to the RTJ show. But Nakia, it's been a pleasure serving with you this morning, Queen. I know we'll be in touch soon, but thank you so much for taking time to share the jewels with us today.
Thank you. Thank y'all for having me.
Absolutely. You have a great rest of the day, Queen, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Peace. All right, y'all. I'm just doing some quick wrap-ups for the Jewels for Thought. You heard literally from my very special guest, Nakia, who was dropping a ton of jewels. Literally, I was even educated myself on the process that goes on behind the scenes to vending, and even to start up your vending business and your vending service. So literally, I know you all, I'm sure, have been able to learn from the information that Nakia dropped, but make sure you go back and watch the replay, you all. She dropped a ton of jewels on literally how to start a successful business with a partner, especially your husband, your spouse. She literally was telling you the blueprint on how to stack your coins up, you all, to make sure that you are not going into debt early on in your business, taking out loans, not paying back your credit cards, which we hear a lot of people cap about starting up a business on credit, but we don't hear them talking about, are they making those payments on time? Are they making those payments on time? We on the RTJ show always speak about financial freedom and also financial literacy. That's one of our 3 legs outside of personal development and health and wellness. We are firm believers that you should be financially free. So why would you go into debt in order to attain freedom? Again, why would you go into debt to attain freedom, you all? You got to think about the real the real deal, not the glamour and glitz side that YouTubers and also IG literally scammers out there that are just wanting to tell you the high notes of the business versus the actual grind and the struggles and the hurdles behind the scenes. And so make sure that you are doing your research. Make sure, like Nakia said, that her and her husband did, that you are surveying and also testing out your machine, your product, or your service before you count the cost of how much it even will be to go into business. You got to think about these things, you all, before you start up your own business, because these are costs that a lot of people seem to literally forget about when they are starting up a startup business. And so I'm going to share some quick jewels that we have coming up for the next season, you all. We are going into the next level of our podcast and our show. We are going to be traveling abroad, traveling international, even more. We've been collecting footage right now with my team and myself, and going to Latin America, going to Asia. We're even going to be going to Africa. We just came back from the Caribbean, you all. And so we are literally going to the next level. And so all the names that you've seen on the bottom of the screen right here are partners, are sponsors, are even donors, and most importantly, supporters of Being Smart Jewels that are literally rocking with us throughout the last 3 seasons that we have been putting out product consistently. And so if you want to be one of our Smart Jewel partners, if you want to be one of our Smart Jewel affiliates, click the link that I'm putting in the comment section because we are taking our stuff international for the RTJ show. And so I'm excited to literally disclose what our team is going to be doing for the next season with the launch of Smart Travel Jewels. You all will definitely be showing a lot more of our promo videos as we get ready to wind down this season. But literally stay on the lookout, because we are literally about to take launch. We are putting in the work behind the scenes. We've been consistent, and we're speaking it into existence. There is power within your words. There is power within your speech. And so speak life and not death over yourself. Speak life and not death over your business. And most importantly, speak life and not death over your faith, because you have to have faith in order to make it through this race. And so trust and believe that there is a God. We call him Elohim, the master creator. There is a God, the almighty, all-powerful El Shaddai. And if you don't know him, you may want to consider getting the chance to know him today. And so you can visit us at www.smartjewelz, enterprises.org to even get started on your podcast today. We have podcast coaching services along with lifestyle coaching and financial freedom coaching, and even health and wellness coaches that we partner with in order to help you shine bright like the bright diamond jewel you've been created to be. But all you have to do is take the first step. And so you can sign up for a free discovery session by clicking the link in the comment section for Smart Jewelz Enterprises, and you will be able to see what we have going on for the rest of this year. Those are all of my jewels for wisdom, for thought. We'll see you all next week. Shine bright, stay high.